Yo, what's up? How are you? How is everyone? Hopefully you are well. Hopefully you're starting your week on a positive. It's a new week. Some of you who deal with bookmakers that have that have credit accounts. Sometimes you have guys that don't like to settle until after the Monday night game during football season. If that's the case, then I wish you luck with any of your investments tonight. Hopefully you get your man, and then tomorrow is the start of your week. So in that case, happy end of your week. That's sort of the way it is for me on the streaming schedule. I will not be with you tomorrow or Wednesday, but given the baseball playoffs start next week, there's a pretty good chance starting on Thursday, I'll have live streams up for many nights in a row without much time off. We'll just have to see what kind of interest the baseball, uh, how interested our people are in the baseball playoffs. All that said, there's only 3 baseball games tonight. The other 2 start on the West Coast in San Diego and San Francisco. They both have playoff implications. This first game does not. Between Washington and Atlanta, bottom of the third, 2-1 Atlanta. About to kick off in Baltimore. I'll give you the coin toss information there. That's Detroit and the Ravens. The game opened up 4.5. Sorry, let me double check I think it's 4. Yeah, and has been bet fairly two-way. It's been as high as 5.5. Circa had a 4 a little bit ago, but it's been a good two-way game for the duration of the day. At post here, 4.5 and mostly 54. There is some 54.5. About to have the national anthem. I have a fast feed tonight, so I'll be ahead of things more so than you, and I'll be around until halftime tonight. The guy that's helping me with the website and to make things all nice and pretty, he says he thinks he'll be done by the end of the week. I'm hoping it'll be before that. In a perfect world, we can get this thing off the ground and ready to rock and roll no later than Saturday. It's possible, maybe, we'll have something by Thursday with all this overlays and the things that you do on Twitch. And I still have to figure out how I'm going to handle my YouTube once I keep all this up. I haven't decided yet. There are really lots to get through and lots to try to sort out as I meander my way through here. Yeah, so we'll see. Anyways, that's the thoughts for the time being. Preseason hockey's underway. If you care about that, there are 3 games tonight at 7 Eastern. They're all gone. The other one at 10 is between Utah and Anaheim. I won't waste anybody's time with that. Let's see. Yeah, really, that's about it. I do have some college stuff that's already ready for next week. We put a couple of games in. I'll go ahead and share them with you. There's only one game that really moved already, it looks like. 119 plus 16. That's Liberty against Old Dominion. They actually moved that one a little bit against us somehow. I'm not an Old Liberty person, and they got us last week, but Old Dominion can't be this high. I mean, the line can't be this much. It just can't. So, I don't know. There's 17 out there now. I would take that too if you can find it. Chris has that. They've been on the high side. 166. That's Mississippi State. This game is bettable at the current price. We took 8, and there's still 8 out there if you look. Circa and Westgate had it last night. South Point still has it now. 7.5 offshore and everywhere else in town. That's the best. I wouldn't take anything worse than that for a decent bet. 166 Mississippi State against Tennessee. 177, the one game that did move. Tulane minus 12.5. We got it, Chris. That game is now 14.5 and 15. So Tulane, the price is gone. 182. That's Illinois against Southern Cal. We took 6.5 there. If it goes to 7, we'll go for more. Spot game more than anything else. USC off of a late night win against Michigan State, where their offense has continued to play well. They'll play against what I deem to be a better defense this week, although Indiana had something to say about that. Combine the fact that Indiana beat Illinois into oblivion. Illinois comes home, red-assed, homecoming, USC, East Coast trip. Well, not East Coast, but to the Central Time Zone at the very least for a early start. So the spot's just not as good. Curious to see how it goes here. The Ravens have won the toss and deferred. So Detroit will get the ball first. If you're trying to bet the first half, keep that in mind. And then the last game in the college we have so far, 199. That's Louisiana Tech -4 against UTEP. So against UTEP last week and got the money with Monroe. Against them again this week. So in the college 5 plays so far, you've got them for now. Do with them what you want. Yeah, that's that. Yeah, so the kickoff's coming in here in just a couple of seconds. The Ravens, like I said, won the toss and deferred. Closing line, 4.5 and 53.5, 54 on the total, pretty much painted now with the exception of a couple places offshore that are running it on the low side. First half now with the Lions getting the ball first. There's some 3 -20 out there. Yeah, it was 3.5, circa 315, 320, 325, 3 flat at Bet Online, 3.5 dog a bunch at Pinnacle. People that are betting the lines because they get the ball first. Total 25.5 over a bunch at a couple of places, but mostly 27 flat on the total. There is a couple of 27 under out there. Man, I just don't see it. I mean, this is the highest total of the week, but I think the Ravens are good for like 40 ball by themselves, unless the Lions are just going to play keep away, which it's not entirely impossible that happens. I just don't see it. But here we go. Let's see how it plays itself out. The Ravens kicked and were underway at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore. The final Week 3 game of the NFL season. Lions will start at the 34, give or take. I am on ABC for this one. That means I'm on the fast feed, and I am ahead of you. So, again, we'll see how it plays itself out from here. Closing number. There were some 5s, a couple of 5s, especially in town. Well, 5 South Point for sure. Fanatics had a 5.5 dog money late. 4.5. Why would they do that? I have no clue, by the way. 4.5 pretty much painted, and 54 at the end. Here we go. First play of the game is a run. Breaks a tackle, gets a yard. If the Ravens defense stays aggressive tonight and allows them to build a lead, which I believe it will, I like the Ravens tonight for the record. I think that they'll win and cover, and they're going to get at least 40 points. So lean over as well. I just don't think the Lions will keep up. But that being said, what happens if the Ravens do get a lead? Will they stay on the gas? What's the end result if and when they start scoring points in bunches? Don't do like you did against Buffalo and let off the gas. It's really remarkable how this coach has all these games where they can't continue to stay aggressive when they get big leads. Goff to Williams, first down for the Lions, big play. Sunk one in there between the guys in the zone. He blitzed the corner there. Threw into the blitz. Good read by Goff. I doubt we'll see much more of that out of the Ravens. Goff's a vet, pretty good at identifying where the problems are, or where the men are where the men are coming from, especially if it's not one of the guys up front. It's somebody in the secondary. They may still blitz one of the safeties at some point later, but I have a feeling that the corner blitzing will be 86th for the night. Oweh just beats his men up front. Slid through for a 3-yard loss. They're at the 45 now. 2 minutes in. Another run. Pound it for about 6. This one's Gibbs, and it's going to be about 3rd and 6 now, maybe 3rd and 5. They have worked their way, I believe, now into field goal range. It'll be a long one. But, hell, the kickers in this league these days, forget about it. You got teams running draw plays to set up 64-yard field goals these days. Trips right, motion left from St. Brown. Goff back, plenty of time. Fires it over the middle. It's complete. Williams again inside the 20. First down, Detroit to the Ravens 17. At the 18, I formation. Actually, two extra backs back there. Power formation. They try to run it again. He bounces it left. Maybe gets 3. So the Lions are committed to the run until they're not. The run has not worked out too well so far, but they've certainly had no problem whatsoever with Goff throwing it to Williams downfield. It's Gibbs out of the backfield. He catches it for about a 5-yard gain. It'll be 3rd and 3. A little bit harder for the Lions to execute what they want to now when we get inside the red zone. Clock moving now inside of 11 minutes. Most of the live prices that I see, well, there's a couple of them, haven't adjusted for anything yet. Obviously, this play will account for what you'll see. Receivers to each shot out of the gun. Goff fires it to Gibbs. Incomplete. Didn't see it coming. Nothing there. They are likely going to have to settle for a field goal. No, they're going to go for it. Surprised they didn't consider running the ball in 3rd and 3 if that's the case. The ultra-aggressive decision-making that the Lions made under Ben Johnson last year, the year before actually too, still there. Even though he's in Chicago, the same thought process. Go out there to get 3 and 7, or 6 and 7, or an 8, not 3. 4 on the play clock, 4th and 3 at the 13. Goff drops back, fires it to the outside. It's caught. First down and goal to go to St. Brown at the 5. And so the aggressiveness pays off this time. Now they just got to pay it off for a touchdown. They did blitz and it did not get there. They pounded up the middle here with the power back. He gets it down to the 1. They're going to line up in a hurry. Gibbs again. I expect to get it again here from the 1. 2nd and goal. Big formation. Williams, the lone receiver, out to the left. Everybody else is close. St. Brown in motion. Gets a block up front. They pound it in. Detroit, I think it's 11 plays. 72 yards and 5 minutes and 44 seconds. 9:16 to go in the first. Jahmyr Gibbs plows in from the 1, and the Lions lead 6-0, point pending. extra point up and good. 7-0 Detroit. Live price, not totally off kilter too much. It's pretty funny. There's a high confidence in the Ravens going right back down the field and ramming it in. 2.5. The live market price at most places. Total up to 56.5 and 57.5. So not much of a change so far. They didn't give Detroit too much credit, despite the Lions being completely in rhythm there and taking it down. They did well against the blitz. They did well against the soft zone. I would expect that there's a relatively decent chance that the Ravens weren't really hell bent on trying to show all their cards on the first drive of the game. It seemed very vanilla, and of course, I'm guessing the Lions had a good script. Yeah, 2.5, 57. There's some under money showing up in the 57.5 pool. 56.5 seems to be the more popular number at this point. Gibbs' first touchdown for the Lions. Ballpark price of that was right around 7-1. I don't know why I have this. Nobody gives a shit about props. I'm not here to talk to you about game or player props. Those are things that if you ask me in the chat, of course, I'll be glad to share with you my thoughts, but not. That's not my thing. Sides, totals, some futures, maybe even. Those are more up my alley. I don't have any bots or algorithms or anything that tells me what the prices are supposed to be. I'm not smart enough to be able to tell you what to do in the prop market. All right, here's the kickoff. It bounces into the end zone and we'll take a knee. So the Ravens will take over at the 35. I think that's the rules for the touchbacks. I read a story yesterday, and actually it's worth watching of these kickers. It's a copycat league, and the Rams did it yesterday with a lot of success. Try to find the video on Twitter or maybe YouTube that shows all the Rams kickoffs yesterday. The Eagles had an absolute mess of a time trying to field them. Lots of the Rams kicker fired a lot of knuckleballs down there. They were hitting the landing zone. They were low liners. They couldn't catch them, which gives the kicking team, the coverage team, a lot more time to get down there and make a play. Just an all-around real troublesome. Actually, I'm fake news. That ball hit in the landing zone and rolled through the end zone, so they only get it at the 20. So that's the goal of these kickoff teams, is to put it out there and have it not be caught. There's all kinds of different. I'm a little bit embarrassed that I don't know the rules yet. And I think it's if you kick it out of the end zone on the fly, they get it to 35. There's something where you get it to 30 still, and then the 20 is if you kick it through the end zone, but it hits in the landing zone. I think that's how it works. First play was a pass to Andrews, crossing to the right. It's caught and runs out of bounds after a gain of 19. So the Ravens are in business early out to the 39, and they draw a penalty on Detroit. That's Hutchinson trying to get to Jackson before he had snapped it. So 1st and 5 for the Ravens here. I would expect, if they are clicking as they should be, I would think this would be about a 6 or 7 play drive. They'll be right down in the paint celebrating tying the game. It just seems inevitable to me. It really does. The defense isn't that great, but their offense makes their power rating as good as an NFL team as I've ever seen. Jackson hands it to Henry. He bulls his way through about 8 on the right side. Lots of that was due to the line, knocking Detroit back. First down, Ravens, out to the 47. Look, the live prices, the Ravens are already back to 3. Haven't even got to midfield yet. Hilarious. Jackson fakes it, keeps it. First down, and he gets down at about the 36. He didn't slide either, so he'll get credit for the whole run there. Some sort of an option, but I mean, it's kind of tough to defend when Henry or Jackson are your 2 options. I mean, they had 2. The linebacker had him. 55 had him dead to rights, and he just missed. Just cut it back inside. I mean, the guy can do things that no one can do. And like I say, I saw this all the way back to Louisville. He's so small, but he's so elusive, and he knows where the hits are coming from. He always has. He just doesn't ever get crushed. He always seems to find a way to not take the worst of it on any of these hits. Andrews underneath. That's a catch on first down for about 8. Be second down maybe at the 29. Second and short. The live price might as well go back up to 5 or 5.5. I mean, what? This is like the most indeterminable march for a touchdown I've ever seen. The Lions have 0 chance of stopping this team, barring some sort of a turnover, freak play, fumble, whatever. Second and 2 at the 29. Henry up the middle. Nothing that time. First positive play for the Detroit defense. Let's call it a gain of 1. 3rd and 1 for the Ravens. Clock on the move. We're inside of 7 minutes in the first. Henry again, this time he doesn't even get touched up the middle. 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. No flags. 5:40 to go in the first. Ravens off a 30-yard touchdown by Henry. We got offsides against Detroit. There is a flag. Fake news. Touchdown will stand. 7-6 point pending. One cut. Got to the hole. Cut to the left. That's it. No one around. Yeah, one touch, it's a missed, and that was it. 6 plays, 80 yards, 336. 7-7. Put your track shoes on, boys. The next total is going to be in the 60s. These are the top 2 offenses in touchdown efficiency. They're both 1 for 1 here. These are the games. I mean, listen. If you have to sit through Chiefs and Giants shit to watch this, you just had to take it sometime. That's simple as that. I didn't stream that game last night because A, I was tired, and B, I didn't want to do it. I knew that the Giants were playing. I'm sick of it. Stop putting the Giants and the Jets on TV. Please, for Christ's sakes. Nobody wants to watch that shit. That Detroit and Baltimore, yeah, please, more of that. I mean, as square as it comes, but I'll sit here and sweat the points with y'all, and anybody that's got Baltimore money line parlays like my buddy Humans or whatever, I'll sweat that. That's fine. But yeah, I'm not in the business of sitting here and watching the Giants and the Jets and all these shit teams during every Thursday, Sunday, and Monday night game. Give me something that's fun to watch. The Ravens are extremely enjoyable to watch. The Lions as well are enjoyable to watch, and not just because they score a lot, but it's because they play the games the right way. The fact that they went for it on 4th down before the touchdown is the right call, Here I was sitting here saying, well, here comes the field goal, just because it was 4th and like 4, thinking that I know for sure on 4th and 2 and probably even on 4th and 3 he's going to go for it. 4th and 4 becomes dicey, and the computer even said it was like 50-50. You know, but they didn't think about it twice. They went for it and they got the first down, and 2 plays later they were in the paint. So yeah, it just goes to show when you have a decent team and you're coached well and you do the right things, it's fun to watch. Whereas the Ravens, our pregame coach is great, but the coach, for whatever reason, when they get decent leads, the Buffalo game in Week 1 was the latest example. They've had more blown double-digit leads than every other team in the league combined in the last 5 years. Part of the reason is you have to be good enough to get those kind of leads to blow them, but the fact that they keep blowing them is an obvious concern that has to be rectified if they're going to hope to win the Super Bowl. And with the Bills playing in the division that they're in and the schedule that they play, it's going to be really hard to catch them for the 1 seed based on the fact that they've already a game up in the loss column and they have the tiebreaker. Live price 4 and 61.5. 60.5 out there as well, just depends on where you shop. 7 to 7, 540 in. Algorithm says basically 54 for the game total, so not quite a point a minute, 0.9 give or take per minute. Yeah. So 0.9 per minute with 540 to go. Pretty simple. You got plus 45 is 54. I'm sorry, 50.4 or 50.66 actually, times 0.9 plus the 14 that are already scored. That's how you get the live price. It's just a very simple algorithm, and you can obviously tweak it the way you want to, but that's how the live totals they come up with in pretty much all the sports, especially professionally. Take the pregame price and work off of it. All right, so first down for the Leos. They start their next drive, 5:35 to go. Again, the total, it's the live price as they go in here, 5 and 60.5 or 61.5, just depending on where you look. This drive will be again at the 32. Second and 19, and it doesn't get any better for the Lions here. Gibbs on some sort of a trickeration that the Ravens were not fooled. Guys on their left side stayed home. It's going to be 3rd forever. I don't know if that's a backwards pass or not. It's very close. It looks to me like it was an incomplete forward pass. Almost worth challenging when you put yourself that far behind the sticks against Baltimore. The last thing they can afford is to somehow give up possession with no points and then get Baltimore in position to get the lead. Here comes just the 5-man screen out to the outside to Gibbs again. He gets several back, but they're not close enough to go for it from here. It's going to be a punt. Fourth and 11. They'll punt. At the 30. Fox is the best punter in the history of the NFL, according to the stats, 48.8. It's his average. This one is about that, 54. Caught at the 16, returned out to the 26. 3:16 to go in the first. There'll be a commercial. That's where the Ravens will start. Live price coming shortly. Ravens will likely be at a touchdown or maybe a little higher. 7, 7.5 is what I would use. Total is going to be back in the 50s for the time being, based on the 2.5 minutes with no points taken off of the 61.5. Here we go. 6.5 minus money, 7 flat. Total 58.5. That's pretty much standard. There are a couple 59s out there with some juice to the under. Feel free to chat anybody about anything that you've got on your mind. I'll be around until halftime. Otherwise, look forward to catching you. I'll be back on Thursday night. The NFL game is at 8:15 between Seattle and Arizona. The college game, 45 minutes before that, between the United States Military Academy and East Carolina. Both teams off of disappointing losses. Army at home and overtime to North Texas. East Carolina also at home to Brigham Young. Saturday night, where they were really stymied on both sides for a good part of that game. Clearly their most disappointing effort to this point and their second loss. Army also has lost 2 both at home. Tarleton State, a 1AA team in their opener. And then again the North Texas game where they were down a bunch early, changed quarterbacks, got back in it, and then changed quarterbacks again in overtime, back to the guy that started the game with all the 3 turnovers. I really don't comprehend what happened there, to be honest with you. Still looking into the injury situation as things stand. Circa opened that game 2.5 and 53. I made it 3 or 1 depending on the Army quarterback. He's worth at least 2. And the line's basically 1. There is some pick 'em out. I'm sorry. The line is 5, 5.5. It opened 3, 3.5. As I said, it's gone up. Actually, Circa's first number was 2.5. So East Carolina gone up a bunch. I'm assuming the Army quarterback's not playing, or they're playing the other guy based on that. So I'll be with you for that one at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on Thursday. 45 minutes later, again, Seattle and Arizona. We'll kick off from Glendale, and we'll see. Hopefully, be with you the whole time, if not at least for the first half of that. So doubleheader on Thursday, tripleheader at college on Friday. Games are at 7, 9, and 10:30 Eastern. ESPN doubleheader, Florida State, Virginia, Houston, and Oregon State. I'll be with you probably until halftime of that late game. So long night Friday for compared to what we've had usually this year, with the exception of week 1. 7-7, Ravens start 3:16 at their own 27. Jackson play fake, fires it over the middle, dump down to Andrews. Sorry, that's 88, the backup Kolar. He was the called the safety valve option, whatever, the check down option there. Wow, look at this. These are the 2 fastest running backs in the NFL at the line of scrimmage. Funny thing about the Henry ones, it's kind of it's weird to say that because he is so patient. That play was a good example. He got the ball and he wasn't in any rush to get to the hole. Now they got to him that time, so it made him look like he's slow, and yeah, it's crazy. Watch him accelerate. Got up to 18.5 miles an hour. That's just nuts. For a man that big, wearing pads to run that fast, it's almost a cheat code. It's almost not fair. 3rd and 3, he's out of the game now after getting stacked up there for no gain. Maybe lost the yards. I think this is the first time the Ravens not been in 3rd down yet. Flowers in motion to the right. Jackson drops back, looks, fires a wheel route to the back, and it's nowhere near him. I'm guessing they'll punt this. They will. He's mad at himself. I'm mad at him too. That's pretty terrible. Not a good read, and even worse pass. He's good for 1 or 2 of those a game. Threw it to where nobody could catch it at the very least. So from the 34, they'll punt it. Stout bombs this one back inside the 10. It's actually fielded at the 3. It's a 64-yarder, and they got him at the 7. Great coverage. The net is about 60 still. There is a flag. Tell you one thing, if it's against Baltimore, they for sure as shit going to make them kick it again. Yeah. Holding? Nope. Detroit. Wow. Timeout at the 143 mark. Detroit's going to have to go the distance here. The field has been certainly flipped. That was a bomb of a punt. To be fair, the thing about it is it's tough because he's not supposed to field that. There was a play. Oh, the Niners did this shit yesterday. The Niners fielded a punt from Arizona at the 4. He fair caught it. He fair caught it at the 4, and they're the 3. And then they've got a safety on the next play. Who in the fuck teaches these people to fair catch punts at the 3-yard line? Like, in what world do you do that? Like, let it go, and if it goes out of bounds at the 3, the 2, the 1, then you just say, okay, you got me. But, like, fuck, I know I'm getting old, but, like, 30 years ago, when I was taught to catch punts, it was like, this is even in high school, you're like, all right, if it's inside the 10, under no circumstances are you to catch the ball like there to fair catch it for sure. Just let it go and hope for the best. Now, obviously, these punters have matured and gotten better, and they have all kinds of practice, and they go to school, and they specialize. They can make the ball do all kinds of crazy shit, and they know what they're doing to get it to stop down there a lot of times. But not all the times, and certainly when you're putting it from the 50 or your own 40, to get it all the way down there inside the 5 and make it stick there, if you don't fair catch it, is just a big ask. Plus, the coverage has to get down there to stop it too. It's not like it's just going to hit and stick like a golf shot. So, like, the Niners almost lost the game because of that safety. Being down by 2, they had to get a couple of stops of Arizona, which Arizona's play calling was absurdly conservative, more than Pat Buchanan would be. I think they were 80% chance to win the game based on the first down and distances with the timeouts that Frisco had. That Frisco got a stop and then got it in the field goal range and kicked the winner. But that game should have been lost by Frisco's special teams and not by the safety because of the right tackle held in the end zone. It was a dumbass play, and he didn't even hold him. He got 74, didn't even get his money's worth. He, like, grabbed him in, like, a little bit of a baby bear hug, and then he let him go. Like, it's just a stupid play. Once you're beat, you got to let him go there altogether. But that hole was set up directly because of a horrible special teams play by the Niners. And the Ravens guy caught that ball at the 3. That ball was punted so far, you just got to let it go, man. I mean, even though you think they outkicked their coverage, have some awareness. The Lions guy I'm talking. Have some awareness, let it go. And the thing about it is they'd had it at the 20, but no, because of the penalty, they would still had it at the 10. Now they're going to have it at the 4, maybe the 3. Live price is 5.5. There is some 4.5 minus a bunch. There is some 6 flat. There is a 6.5 dog price. They actually have it at the 2. 57 the total. There is some 56.5 out there. 143 to go in the first. We resume play out of the commercial. Rant over. Hopefully you enjoyed it. The Niners won that game yesterday. The Niners and Bucks have shown a propensity so far this season to have found ways to win games despite not looking very impressive for long stretches of the game on both sides of the ball. But winning is winning. There's something to be said for that too. Some of these teams are finding ways to lose games that quite frankly they probably shouldn't. Jacksonville did last week and almost again yesterday. First play was a gain of 4. Good effort to try to get out of their own shadow of their goal line. They're also in the same formation here with 2 tight ends. Montgomery swallowed up in the backfield, loses yardage here. There is a flag, and I was drinking my iced tea, so I missed it. Bill Vinovich on the call. He's pointing at somebody. I'm guessing it's against Detroit, so they'll decline that. So they lose yardage on second down. Be 3rd and long from here. 1:02 left. Third and 7 for the Lions. That's closer to 8 to me. Gunn trips left. Ravens rush 5 over the middle, complete. That's Laporta out to the 16. First down Detroit, and they have the choice to run it to the end of the period if they want to. They do not snap it. End of the quarter, 7-7. The Lions will start 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 15 when the second quarter begins. Live price. Chris has 4.5. That seems exceedingly cheap. Let's see what everybody else pops. Pinnacle's got 6.5. The dog like 30. Yeah, I don't know. Circa's got 4.5 minus money too. I think 6 is closer to being right. 55.5 is an agreed number on the total, which makes all the sense. Again, we're working off the algorithm here. 14 in the first with 54 times 0.9 plus 14. Let's see here. I had something else I wanted to bring up. I know we got a little bit longer quarter here. A little bit longer break, sorry, at the quarter. I don't see anybody chatting anything. Yeah, not much to say. Recap the weekend. Those of you who were with me yesterday saw me lose my mind a couple of times. Biggest one, I think, probably was during the kick return by the Rams when the fat guy touchdown from 60 on the block field goal. He actually got to a top speed that was like exceedingly fast, like 14 or 15 miles an hour for a defensive tackle, which is like unheard of. Like super freak human nature, like not fathomable speed. And of course, the after the block, the Rams had sort of given up anyway. It's not like people are going to go chase him down. There's nothing to do at that point, with the exception of the point spread. Obviously, the Eagles had not covered for 1 second, were never close to being the right side for 1 second in that game to win, let alone cover. And again, like just to see all that unfold the way that it did, brought back some really, really bad memories for me. Just reminded me so much of the monster bet that I had on Green Bay against Seattle in the NFC Championship game, going back to, I believe it was 2015. Patriots beat the Colts in the early game, and then the Packers played in the late game against Seattle at Seattle, and the Packers just totally dominated the game. They had that jack-off coach McCarthy, kept kicking field goals inside the 5 on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2. It's like 3 or 4 times they kicked the field goal in the first half. They should have been up 30-0 at halftime. It was like 15-0. Just the most complete, frustrating experience of my life. And Wilson gets hot in the second half. They come back and win it, I believe, in overtime. I think they even got the money. It was terrible. Green Bay money line for my nuts went up in flames. Second quarter underway at the 15. Goofball Flat will snap it from there. They got 2 men running deep routes. They're going to throw it underneath to the back. He's got 5. He gets it back from Laporte. It's a first down to the 27. The live price, 4.5 or so. There was some 6 dog money and 55.5 on the total to start the second quarter. So yeah, those are that game, the Rams game. If you had the Rams yesterday plus 3.5, that's really about as bad of an NFL beat as you're going to find. Just a really, really tough way to lose a bet when your team totally controls the game well into the third quarter. I mean, you're up 26-7 in the third quarter. In a game where the other team doesn't even get a first down. I mean, can't even get a first down. Has almost negative yardage passing. I mean, and then it just snap your fingers and it flips on its head. But that's the NFL. These are professionals. At some point, they figure some things out, and then the momentum changes, and just whatever you thought was happening doesn't happen anymore. Goff scrambles for 5 this time. So, first quarter, to recap it for those who haven't seen, the Lions got the ball first, took it down the field, converted inside the 20 one time on 4th down, and scored a touchdown. Ravens came back with a 6-play touchdown drive of their own. 2 punts ensued. Now the Lions have the ball for their 3rd time today. This is a run to the outside that loses about 5. Give Detroit credit for trying to establish a run, but I just feel like against Baltimore, at some point just give that shit up and just start throwing it. I mean, we saw what happened when Buffalo did that week 1. At the 30, it's 3rd and 8. First down, Laporta over the middle of the 46. That's a crazy stat. In week 1 against the Packers, they were 1 for 14 on 3rd and 6 and longer. The Packers put them in the blender. They had 3rd and 6 or longer 14 times. Think about how asinine that is. They only converted 1, so that means they had to get a couple of 4th downs, I'd assume. That means they had a 3rd down no less than like 10 and long on like 10 drives. Sometimes you play a whole game and you don't even have like more than 10 or 11 drives. But this is Goff's having too much time to do stuff on 3rd down. The Ravens are going to have to make an adjustment, the Ravens have to make an adjustment there. I think that's either 2 or 3 times they've converted with him having time to sit back there and pick them apart. But again, that's the whole point. They're running the ball again on 1st down and just wasting it down. Gain nothing again. 12:07 to go. Clock moving, 2nd and 10. Uh-oh, they give it to him again. This was Montgomery. He's out near the 1st down. This is by far the best setup play that the Lions had running the ball. They actually should have did better than that. Hamilton does a good job to stop him in an open field situation. 9 plays, 51 yards. They've already sucked down 5.5 minutes here this drive, starting at their own 3. And another 3rd down conversion of just a 1 yard to get, and they got maybe 2 to Gibbs up the middle, and the drive will continue. Clock moving. This is the one way to stop the Baltimore offense, and that's keep them on the bench. Yeah, Aikman's bringing up the same point that I did. They had him back at the 2, and they're already out past midfield. So no matter what happens here for Detroit, they've already had a moral win. Gibbs has another completion out near the 1st down. There is a flag. He may have shoved the back. Nope, contact. They'll decline the penalty to take 2nd and 1. So Laporta and Hamilton had a little jostling down the field, and they call it against the safety for the Ravens. Now they've got Montgomery and Gibbs in there. Both of them are behind the tight ends. Three backs lined up. They give it to the 2nd back. That's Montgomery. He breaks a tackle, almost another. Had he done that, he'd have been free. They're inside the 30 now. This drive has now matriculated itself almost 70 yards in more than 6 minutes. First down inside the 30. Another kind of a big formation here. The Lions have all their tight ends in again. 2 receivers lined up to the left now. St. Brown in motion. They give it again to the back. This is Montgomery. He pounds it down for another 10 yards. So now the Lions, after seemingly fruitlessly running the ball a bunch, have started to show some holes in the Raven defense with the run. I guess my thought process on them trying to just start chucking and ducking the whole rest of the game was ill-conceived. These last few plays have been pretty solid. They're taking it right down. They're getting some chunks now. 15 15 carries for 39 yards between them, but you know, you have to be patient. Try to break one of those at some point, and all of a sudden your average yards to carry goes way past 2.5. Gibbs again. He gets maybe only 2 this time. Ugh. 14 plays and 80 yards, 8.5 minutes so far. This is among the more impressive drives you've seen in the league this year. Still big formation here. One back, they give it to him again. Big hole. Banging it down near the first down. 2nd 9, they give him 8. Gibbs again. Just slamming up in the middle, body against body. And this time, or more times than not on this drive, at least in the last 7 or 8 plays, the Lions have won those battles. Yeah, the Ravens just don't have enough guys in the box. Given that the formations are what they are, I could tell you if you give me the all-22 angle that play was cinched to have success. If the Lions were able to get guys out to the second level blocking because there wasn't enough guys to get to in the first place. Let's see here. Goff's checking to something here. He's got one back behind him, offset eye. Goff just sneaks it on 3rd and 1. Never a sweat. They're going to have goal to go here. This drive's going to, when they snap the ball, on the next play, it's going to be right at 10 minutes, maybe a little bit over that. 16 plays, 89 yards to this point. These are the games where if you have over, you're just like so sick. You know, and even if they get their touchdown, it doesn't matter. It takes way too much time. 7 points for every 10 minutes is a loser in this game. It's only 42. Over the middle, arrow route by the back. It's caught by Gibbs. He's down inside the 1. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 1. Clock continues to move. Yeah, this is one of those where the live price is going to be very close to a pick'em after this. Maybe like Ravens 2. Look at this. 17 plays, 97 yards there at the dick line. They'll get it in here, I would think. They're out of the gun. The give is to Montgomery, and I think he's in. No signal yet. They're saying short. Now we got the other guy says he's in. Now we got 3 guys talking to each other. One of them gave him the touchdown, so they'll review it. I can't see the ball, but okay. The telestrator guy circles the ball. Yeah, I guess that's in. This view will be better. Yeah, he's in. 98 yards. What was that? 18 plays? They had the ball for like 11 minutes. This will be one of those because ABC, the Disney people, need their money. Watch what's going to happen here. They're going to give us a commercial after the extra point, then they're going to give us another one after the kickoff. It's a cinch. I'm calling it. I'm calling my shot here. I'm not the TV commercial caller guy, but that's just what I think will have to happen. These TV games, they're not in the business of having 11-yard drives, 11-minute drives. 5:47 to go in the second. 13-7 point pending. I hate these hats these teams are wearing. The logos are non-existent. The letters are 4-point, 8-point font. There's no color combinations. They suck. Extra point down, up, good. Detroit 14, Baltimore 7. 5:55 to go before the half. New price. Baltimore 2. 1.5. There is a 2.5. There is 3 dog a bunch. Total 55.5, 56.5, 54.5. So the touchdown kind of supersedes things, and the total is still kind of high because of that. I personally like I like Baltimore still. I mean, Again, that drive notwithstanding, I'd like to think that the Ravens will make some adjustments going forward, and that won't happen again. But I mean, it's not. They're not going to win it with defense. That's for sure. It's definitely. It definitely needs to. They're going to have to start scoring some points and just not stop scoring if they're going to win it. Maybe at this point, the fact they get the ball first to start the second half puts them in a precarious spot here. Do they play some sort of a drill that allows them to go score a touchdown in 6 minutes? That's not the way that they operate. I'm guessing they'll try to go fast enough to score and sometime well before the 2 minute warning and basically force Detroit to play a different game the next time they get the ball back. None of this run the ball up the middle and pound it for 6 yards of ripple. It hasn't been the way it's gone. They've either been losing yards or getting stacked up at the line of scrimmage, or they're getting big chunk plays for 6, 8, 10, 12. Again, I'm talking out of my ass here. I need to see the drive chart, but it just seemed that way the last drive, that they only were really put in a position where they were behind the sticks on a couple of plays, and they did pass for a couple of first downs. But if I'm memory serves right, they only threw the ball about 3 times that drive. It was just a whole lot of running, big formations, double tight ends. Um, Crazy. I don't know. I don't think there was any 3, but there's certainly a lot of. I mean, there was some 12 formation in some of that. I mean, just some crazy. Crazy spots where both backs were in. Um, So anyways, it's coming up pretty much anywhere between 1.5 and 2.5. The total between 54.5 over juiced to 55.5. Flat-ish, give or take, like kind of the mean number. 55.5 flat, we'll call it. Again, 14-7 Detroit at Baltimore. The closing line 4.5. They're just call it 4.5 and 54. That's the easiest way to describe it at this point. 14-7, 5:55 to go. The Ravens do get the ball first to start the second half. Those of you just starting, I'll give you the drive updates. Detroit touchdown, Ravens touchdown, Detroit punt, Ravens punt, Detroit 98-yard touchdown drive. So Baltimore gets it for the third time today at the 5:55 mark before the half. Down inside the 6. Caught 20, 25, 30. They might not get the ball. They will. At the 47 is where they'll start their drive, or the 48. Big return. No flags. That totally eliminates the idea of a time-consuming touchdown drive. Both teams have all 3 timeouts. I'm thinking the Ravens are going to try to score quick here and put pressure on Detroit to try to see if they want to try to have some sort of another long drive again. Certainly, they were in their comfort zone trying to have the ball with no pressure whatsoever with the clock. I shouldn't say they'll score quick. Let's just see how quick they'll score. The logistics of time management have never been a strength of the Ravens coach, and it's one of the reasons why it's tough to bet them in January. Here's a run on the first play to Henry. He gets about 4. The third down to Laporta early in the drive was important. That was when the Ravens showed 6 and then dropped out and only sent 4. I'm guessing the next time in that situation they will send another rusher from somewhere, not the corner. Trips left here. Now the back's out to the left as well. It's a draw for Jackson. He gets nothing. Looked like there was something there, and they got to him. The linebacker, 55, made a really nice play. 3rd and 6. Clock winds inside of 5 minutes. Jackson, gun, back offset to his left, receivers to each side. Brings the tight end into block. The back blocks Hutchinson. He might have held him. No call for now. Jackson fires it complete to the outside. It's Bateman. Jackson was rolling left and still had the strength to get that one out past the sticks. It'll be a gain of about 11. They blitz. They sent the house. Blitz 7. Still somehow got away from it. It's tough, man. At the 37, Jackson drops back out of the gun again. Looks deep, throws deep. Got a man open. Wow, that was way too easy. Inside the 5. Puts it right on the money to Walker. They sent 5, so yeah, the corners were one-on-one. Just ran a flag route. They sent 5 again. Just stepped up in the pocket. Now Henry up the middle, down to the 2 and the 1. Second and goal now. The clock will run inside of 3 minutes. This is what the Ravens want, though. The score here, now the pressure goes all the way on the other side again because they'll have to go a little bit faster than they want if they're going to try to be able to answer. Detroit in a perfect world would take any points before halftime to have the lead. But the last thing that can happen is give the ball back to Baltimore and let them take the lead into the locker room, especially with them getting the ball first to start the second half. Then you start putting your track shoes on. Henry again up the middle. He does not get in. And now it's going to be close enough to the 2-minute warning. They'll actually be able to run it down to the 2-minute warning. If you didn't know any better, you say they did it on purpose. Now Jackson's going to walk over to the sideline. They're not going to run another play. So again, you have clock gymnastics. He seems disgusted, but I don't know. So clearly they were trying to score, but because they didn't and the Lions don't call timeout, it probably works out better for them. The next play will be run at the 2-minute warning. So assuming they get in on third down, it'll be the Lions only have 1 minute and 56 seconds left in all their timeouts. So let's see how it plays out. They got to get in first, but I'd say they're 80% favorite to get in on this play. They're inside the 1. Live bet might not be bad on Baltimore at this point, but the market's seemingly telling you it's going to get in. They probably won't change much from here. They're laying 3.5 actually flat at the Westgate. 3.5 dog a bunch at circuits, almost a scalp to the Westgate line. 3 minus a bunch of money offshore. 58, 58.5. The totals 57.5 out there in town. I like 58.5 still. At 14 all with a chance for points before halftime as well. And you take out that long 11-minute drive, or you won't see that again tonight most likely. So hard for me to think that this game doesn't get to the first 1 to 30 necessarily wins. I don't think that that's necessarily the case. You may have to get to 35 to have a chance to win it. Again, I'm sticking around with you. I'll read you a halftime line and then going to call it. Dave Sharapan, good friend of mine, and one of the first people that I know that was licensed in this business in Nevada, worked at Cantor Gaming after working offshore, passed away late Saturday night. Found out about it yesterday before I was working, so if you see my stream from yesterday wearing a soccer jersey, I actually messed up. I had a Dodger jersey that I could have worn instead. Probably would have been better than U.S. Soccer, but he always used to wear a jersey and a hat when he'd go out, so sort of a tribute to Dave. There's a bunch of people that knew him that are out tonight watching the game and having like a little bit of some drinks and just a memoriam, whatever you want to call it. Just hanging out, watching the game, something that Dave would do quite frequently. I remember several times over the last 6, 7, 8 years since I moved to Vegas from Costa Rica myself, where I'd go out and check out a game and hang out with Dave, talk to him about things, life, the business, my job situation most recently in the last couple of years. Hey, Dave, do you know anybody that's helped me get a damn job? It's a tough road, but yeah, Dave was a great dude, and some of my friends are out celebrating that tonight, so it worked out well that this isn't quite ready to be varsity team yet. Don't have 3,000 viewers or even 300 viewers yet, but only 30. It's okay. No big deal. You guys that are here from the get-go know what you're getting from me. You know you're going to get it going forward, and you'll start getting it for the full course of the game and be able to chat with other people. Hopefully very soon, if not Thursday, then hopefully by this weekend. Get my page up to speed, make it look nice and spiffy. Invite the world on in and see how it goes. All right, Ravens are at the line, 2-minute warning. They go quick toss to Henry. He gets stacked up at the 1, no gain. And now, 4th and goal, the clock will continue to move unless the Lions stop it. They have not shown any inclination of doing so yet. He may have lost a yard. Now what are they doing? Surely to Christ, I'm not going to kick a field goal. No. All right, back in the huddle. 20 on the play clock, 1:30 to go. Jackson at the line. They're going fast again. Trips left, fake, roll out right. Fake, fake, fake. He fumbles it. He's got it. He falls on it at the 22. Nothing doing, and the Lions have gotten the stop. They seem to be really prepared for that play. Almost sort of, they've seen Baltimore maybe run that in a 2-point situation before. Yeah, roll out right and got him, and now the live line really changes. Detroit will go from a 3-point dog to a 3-point favorite. $1:22 to go, and the Lions have a chance to score and add to their lead before the half. Words that I thought I wasn't going to be saying about 3 minutes ago in real time. The Baltimore play calling got really weird down there at the end. Even the second down call at the goal line I thought was setting up, like almost intentionally not trying to score, so you could use the 2-minute warning to take away one of the timeouts. I was telling you that I thought, like I said, clock management, when you have two good offenses, a lot of times your goal is to play, keep away from the other team, which is what Detroit just did. Or in Baltimore's case, try to double up before the half, or put them in a situation where Detroit was going to have to go fast in a tie game with the pressure on them because they knew that Baltimore was going to get it out of the break. Now, Detroit's sort of playing with house money. They have the touchdown lead and the ball right now. So even if they don't get anything, if the Ravens don't score, which they did in the last time, that's like a break of serve. The very worst case, they go in up a touchdown. So I think if you tell, right now the Detroit coach, I would be very surprised if they get super aggressive here. You certainly want to get a first down. You don't want to run the ball for 2 yards and let Baltimore call a timeout. I mean, the last thing you want to do is, even if they use all their timeouts and give them the ball back with 45 seconds left, because Lamar Jackson can clearly lead a team down the field. He did it against Buffalo, where they can gain 20 or 30 yards, pop couple, 3 times. I mean, it's not like they can't get the yards to get in the field goal range. And clearly they drafted a kicker that's got range that's out of this world good. So, if they get it to inside, if they get it to the 40-yard line, then that's in field goal range. And again, field goals over the course of a 60-minute game with these two offenses aren't going to do you any good. But a field goal at this point late in the first half, if the Ravens can get that after what just happened, certainly they would take it and go in down 4. That would be ideal. And the Lions don't want to allow it to happen. Yeah, the Ravens tried to go fast, and the Lions are ready for it. That's superior coaching. Whatever worries you might have had about the Lions losing both their coordinators in the offseason, Dan Campbell gets a big power ratings jump there. That's a very, very well coached team. The guy that makes a play like that, and then of course the kicker, they're showing that a lot of times on the replay, which they should. That guy made a great play. Without him, the Ravens tied up right after the big long drive. All right, shotgun, running back offset to the left, 2 receivers to each side for Goff. 1:24 to go at the 20. Spins out, fires left, incomplete. There's a flag. Might have been a hold. Nope. Defensive illegal contact, and it'll be another first down for the Lions. 1:18 to go. They'll go to the 25 now. Live price Detroit 2, 51.5. This is a fascinating study in the total. It's still all over the game number, despite the fact the Lions had an 11-minute drive and the Ravens took it to the 1 and didn't get in. Crazy. Goff back. Has time. Rolls out. Fires left, out of bounds. No one there. Good coverage downfield. 1:12 to go before the half, 2nd and 10 at the 25. Just a fascinating study where the game total was 53.5, 54, and it's still 51.5. Like I say, despite the fact that the Lions had an 11-minute drive, and the Ravens had it down at the 1 and didn't get in. Gun, back offset left again. This is trips right for Detroit. Now the Ravens are showing blitz. They do bring it. Nope, they drop out. They don't blow the whistle yet. It's an incomplete pass almost for sure. They're going to let it play out. It is a touchdown for the moment. It's supposed to be 3rd and 10. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, they didn't blow. Somebody just didn't blow the whistle. So now the key is to reset the clock here. Okay, so the clock gets reset to 1:10. 3rd and 10 at the 25. So now both teams have all their timeouts left, and now it becomes, what does Detroit want to do here? I mean, like I say, I didn't necessarily agree with that. I thought they should have ran the ball at least once to see, even if they didn't get many yards, force Baltimore to call at least one of their timeouts. And if you get a first down, then they will stop calling timeouts. Trips right again. Gun, back offset right. It's St. Brown behind the line of scrimmage. He's stacked up, and he get nothing. The Ravens will call one of their timeouts, and now at 1:05 left, the Lions will have to punt it back to them. And the Ravens, are, with their offense, are very much a favorite to get some sort of points out of this. 14-7. Let's see what the live price is now. I'm guessing that it's going to be back to a pick 'em, or maybe Baltimore a small favorite again. They may not even put it up here. During this timeout, I thought they might go to a commercial. Yeah, I'd say Baltimore like 1.5, 2.5, whatever, be about the number. It's crazy that the market just has that much faith on Baltimore to score, but I agree with it. That's more of a guy making a number than it is the algorithm. They did come hard at the punter, didn't get to him. It's a short kick back to the 32. Caught, 40, 42, and he's down. 56 seconds left to go at the 42. There is a flag. Holding Detroit. They're going to tack it onto the end, which I would do too. It wasn't a good punt to begin with. Oh, and here comes the Disney folks going for a timeout. Right up our ass. That close to the half, too. What a tough beat. I mean, if the Lions could have had a good drive. No, why they're doing that is because no one's calling any of their timeouts. The mouse counts on these teams to use their timeouts at the end of the first half. Someone to use them at the least. They got to stick some commercials up our ass somehow. So that return plus the penalty is going to give Baltimore a situation where they only need about 15 to 18 yards to kick a field goal. So the Lions, I don't necessarily. I mean, I'm not going to fault their aggressiveness. You're not going to beat Detroit or beat Baltimore by running the ball the whole game. It just so happened that drive when they started at their own 2 worked out well because they were able to run the clock and get first downs. The running the clock was just the secondary factor of it, just chewing it up because of the fact that they were able to move the sticks. In this situation, the clock was a factor because you couldn't just go up there and line up and run the ball with an infinite amount of time to move the sticks. They had to actually have a purpose. Otherwise, they just would have ran the clock out. And that's obviously you're not going to beat Baltimore by doing that. But the last thing you want to do is run 3 plays where the clock doesn't move and you only force them to call 1 timeout. I mean, if you're going to throw it 3 times and not get a first down, at least complete 2 of them, if not all 3 of them. But by only completing 1 pass and it was behind the line of scrimmage, you only make Baltimore burn 1 of their timeouts. And with that quarterback and that offense, that's not acceptable. If you put Baltimore in a situation where they have to throw, don't worry. There's really nobody in football that I'd rather have in a situation that you have to throw the ball than Lamar Jackson. So I would say Baltimore is certainly a favorite. Again, I'll say it, to score every time they have it. They're a favorite this time to score some points, given where they're starting on the field. I'm going to say that they're favored to score a touchdown. Live price is 2.5 minus money on Baltimore, which goes to show what the market thinks. Combination of the fact that they're favored to score something, plus they get it out of the half, and that's why you get this line. I can't argue with it at all, given the fact they were 4.5 pregame and 53.5, and you got 2.5 now, and 52, 51.5, and even a 53.5 under. Just goes to show that the gamut's there on the total, give or take. That's close, but they're counting on no less than 24 to be at the break. And even then, the halftime line is going to be no less than 26 and a half, 26, 26 and a half at the very, very least. So if they score a touchdown here, then that's the least it can be is 54, 54 and a half for the end game or the halftime price when you add the end game to what's happened so far. So anyways, we're starting at midfield. So 56 seconds left, 2 timeouts. They're already almost in field goal range. I'm sure, given what happened here, the Ravens will be super disappointed not to score a touchdown. Jackson, he's going to be able to run this one. 10, 12, 14 yards out of bounds at the 36. 48 seconds left, first down. So Detroit just drops out here. Man covers, they rush 5, but once he breaks contain, what are they going to do? There is a borderline spy in the middle, but again, there's no spy in this league is going to be able to keep up with that guy once he breaks to the outside. At the 36, 48 seconds. Gunn drops back. Lots of guys to his left. Pivots. There's a guy behind him. Buys time again. Dumps it. Caught. Out of bounds at the 32. That's about as exciting as a 4-yard gain as you're going to see. He has such good pocket presence. He knew there were guys in front of him, besides him, on both sides, behind him. He could feel it all. He looked back. He saw there was a guy there. Just kept sliding around. It's very hard to sack this guy. 38 seconds left. They still have both the timeouts. A very exciting 4-yard pass play. Trips left this time out of the gun. His back is offset to the left as well. Andrews stays in to block for now. He chips the guy. Now he goes. He's the safety valve. That throw is high and caught. There's 2 receivers in the same area. He threw it over the first guy's head. So that's why I thought it was high. The second one caught it. That's Hopkins. He's down into the 20, I believe. Yeah, he's at the 19. First down. 13 yards there. 32 seconds left, and still both timeouts. Well, 2 times. Both that they had at the start of the drive. This is almost happening too quickly, to be honest with you. These timeouts will come in handy when they stop using the sides. Looking for it all now, and there's going to be a flag. It may be before the route was run. Hopkins is chirping at Arnold. It's going to be against Detroit. Just a matter whether it's holding or interference. The back judge had enough of the talking. It is interference. The spot foul, I don't know where they called it. It looks like maybe at the 4. He did grab him. Hopkins has been around long enough. He knows how to sell that stuff as well. So first and goal with 27 seconds. But they, again, have all their timeout. Well, 2 of their timeouts left, which is all they'll need in this situation. Again, they get the ball first at halftime as well. The live price is now 3- a ton. Ravens don't have a play yet, and the clock has gone off under 15 seconds, so I guess they got it to him. Okay, big formation here. Trips left, but it's all monsters. Tight ends. Play fake. Fires complete. Touchdown to Bateman. 24 seconds left in the half, and the Ravens have done exactly what the Lions could not have wanted to happen when they stopped them on the goal line situation the last drive. Going to have a chance to double up. 24 seconds, and the Lions have all 3 timeouts. There is a chance they could try to do something to get it down the field and get something out of it. Detroit fans have traveled very, very well, but I do not see a lot of Honolulu blue in the stands tonight. 14-13 point pending. Good execution on the fake there. .24 seconds to go again. Down, up. Good. 14 all. Live price 4 now. is the first number I see. Can't disagree with it. That's why I'd book the halftime number at as well. I think 3.5, 4, either one is in play. I feel like the Lions have thrown their hardest punch, and the Ravens are right there. I think the Ravens might be worth a look in the second half. Would have leaned that way live going in. If you could lay 3 now, that would be the price. Jason Kelsey's playing in the band. What is that all about? He's from Philly. Or he was from Cincinnati, technically, or Ohio. I don't need to know the story behind this. I used to not. Was that Stanford Steve down there with him? Yeah, I used to not be much of a fan of Aikman and Buck. They've sort of grown on me over the years. Aikman more so because of the fact that he's not afraid to speak his mind. He does a good job of criticizing without going over the top to make it sound personal. He's done this for 20 years or more, he's gotten better almost every year at that. All right, so 4.5. There is some 4 out there as well. I'm surprised 4.5. That seems excessively high given Detroit can still score points before halftime. Let's just hold off and see here. Hope they do, actually. Good return out to the 33. There's 18 seconds left. Yeah, Detroit getting points before halftime I think would be a good thing in the grand scheme of things. It allows us to get a cheapened price on Baltimore for the game. Instead of having to lay something very similar to what the pregame price was, you'll get something much cheaper than that. Anything inside a field goal. I'm guessing if the Detroit kicks a field goal, then the halftime line will be Baltimore. Anything less than 6. It might be 5.5. I can't see it coming 6 if they're down by 3. I could be wrong. Going through 0, you have certainly an edge betting it that way. We'll see. They rushed 4. Man coverage everywhere behind it. Caught. Well, it might have been zone deep. They had man on the back at least. Gain is about 4. They do call their first timeout. Again, they only need about 20 yards to get to at least long field goal range. Here we go at the 37. 13 seconds. Goff back out of the gun. Fires it again short. Out to the 40-ish. Timeout's going to be called again. 7 seconds left. That's really not enough. You got to throw it down the field a little bit here. That took up all the time. I mean, they run that play again. They're not going to have enough. I mean, they could run it for 10 yards and they're not going to have enough yards to get into field goal range. I don't think Bates has that kind of leg to kick it from 60 plus, 65 plus. They got 1 timeout, so they can throw it wherever they want to, but the time's a factor now. Only 7 seconds left. They're at the 40. The spot was generous. They need probably at least 12 yards to have a realistic shot. Timeout's going to be called by the Ravens here. So it's 3rd and 3, and they see what they're set up in. Yeah, I can't believe it took them all that time to only run those 2 plays. I wonder why I don't like the fact the mouse hasn't put the green line on the field. I want to see what this guy's range is. right, trips right, one off to the left, back to the left. Only a 3-man rush. Goff fires it over the middle, complete. And he's going to give himself up at the 48 at St. Brown with 2 seconds left. They do call timeout, and they will have a chance to kick it from 65. In-game lines are now off, of course. They'll be replaced by halftime numbers. I do remind you, I'm going to stick around. If we have any bets, I'm going to stick around for that. His career long is 58. This will be from 67. Timeout Ravens. So we're going to see a 67-yard field goal here. Okay, the spot wasn't very good. I don't think that or they're trying to. He's 100 to 1. Okay. If he's 40 to 1, maybe 30 to 1. This is just like you have to absolutely nut one. From this far, every yard matters. This is just so far. I mean, you have to have hook to it. You're not just going to make it banging it through from here. No one's got. I mean, the Cowboys guy's the only one that's got that kind of strength. They actually have a guy back there to return this thing. Let's see how this goes. The Lions at least should have 1 or 2 speed guys out there somewhere. From 67. Snap down up. It got out of the end zone, but it was left. Probably a little short as well. 14 all at the break. Halftime line coming shortly. I'm hoping to lay 3. That's the order. We'll see what we get. I'm guessing it'll be 4. Total, I'm guessing, will be 27 flat. Ten minutes, 48 seconds. Wow. All right, here we go. Yeah, it's about what I thought. 4 and 27. 27 over a little bit. Let's have some fun here. Nothing stupid. It's in at 4 flat. I'm waiting to see if he'll get back to me. I'm sure it'll be widely available. He was in all of his accounts, so. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Okay. There it is. Ravens -4, second half flat or better. 1.5 units small to medium. I wish you luck. 4 and 27 is the total. It's painted. There is some 4 minus money. There is some 27 over 15 out there as well. A little bit of over money. Gun to my head over. And there actually is a little bit of a correlation here, I think, with Baltimore over as well. I think that they're good for touchdowns, no less than twice, maybe even 3 times. So maybe it's, well, I mean, the line tells you at 4 and 27. That tells you it's, it's setting up to be, 15.5 to 11.5. So, yeah, I think the Lions are. I think that the Ravens score 17 in their sleep with getting the ball first, and I think 21's more likely. Given, you saw what happened when they played Buffalo the first time. The second half really exploded. I think their last week's game against Baltimore or against Cleveland went flying over too with a bunch of BS plays. Their offense didn't really do a whole lot. They didn't have to. This game they do, and when they do, and they're in a battle I expect them to go up and down the field again. Really, they had the ball 4 times. They scored 2 touchdowns. They punted once, and then the third time they were inside the 1. So really, it should have been 3 touchdowns and 4 drives. I expect that to continue. They outclassed the Detroit defense. There's nothing accidental. They're the better team. They get the ball first. 4 is probably the right line, and still 4. I still think that Baltimore is the better team. I couldn't open it in good conscience as a bookmaker 4.5 because of the game line being where it was. But just with Baltimore getting the ball first and the way that the game is played out, that's the right number. It's a good job by everybody involved. Just doing some gambling at this point. I don't think that we have a huge edge laying 4, obviously, but other than what I've seen with my eyes. So I wish you luck. -4 the play. If you have a gun to your head and have to bet the total, go over as well. If you want to bet a parlay for shits and giggles, it's not that correlated. It is, but they'll let you bet it. The books would. Favorite to over. Certainly would recommend that. Appreciate you spending some time with me tonight and all weekend. It's been a good 92 minutes tonight. Look forward to seeing you guys all on Thursday. We may go the whole distance on Thursday, play it by ear, see how much I attract others. It may be if the page is done professionally and everything's all set. Might have to advertise on Twitter. I got about 8,000 followers. See if I can get some folks over from there to check it out. And if not this time, then I'm going to do it again and again and again. At some point, it'll catch on, and we're going to have people in here chatting each other instead of me talking to myself the whole night. Thanks for listening. For those who are here, look forward to seeing you again soon. Be well. God bless. Talk to you later. R.I.P. Sheripan. Look forward to hanging out with some friends tonight. Those who are in Las Vegas and wanted to hang out, Durango Casino and Sportsbook on the west side of town, southwest side of town off the 215 in Durango. I'll be there in about 17 minutes for the remainder of the second half.